Now, we used to, China and Africa, including with Nigeria, look at each other through a third person's eyes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not accurate.
No.
And not to mention, there is sometimes misinformation.
Yeah.
So how important it is that we are looking at each other directly in the eyes.
You know, we have been defined for all too long as, like you said, through other people's eyes. And in the most part, it has been to our detriment, because it is not a reflection of who we are. We are a people who love culture, who have an identity. We're a people who have ideals and a tradition that we are so proud about. So now, you know, being able to do this direct connectivity is important for us to teach ourselves. And with the population that you have in China and the population we have in Nigeria and the growing prominence of the two countries and the growing prominence of a unity of the global South, I think it is very important. And like I said before, this industry is the easiest way that we can resonate our stories. So by bringing our festivals together, our culture, our creativity, our fashion, our love for fashion, and our love for just our history and our heritage together, and doing that by imbibing it through the creative industry, that's through the fashion, through the animation, through the gaming, through the gastronomy, our love for food, through the film and the music, I think it is the fastest way for us to teach us about who we are through our own eyes and grabbing our own stories and telling it to the world.
For example, there are quite a number of very well-known movies around the world made about Africa. Or about life in Africa. Starting from Out of Africa to all the other big names of the movies. How do you, as a Nigerian culture figure, look at the legacies that these works created, positive and negative? What does that mean for your industry?
I think it means a lot for my industry. For example, you look at literature, which is under my industry. We have the likes of Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate. You have the likes of Chidimamanda Adichie, which is a Nigerian. You have Chinua Achebe's, right? We have up-and-coming artists. We have poets. And it sets the scene for the prominence of Nigeria. And it's not about an individual, it's about a people, because you are a part of a people. And you look at within the art industry as well. You look at within the music industry, the Felas, your Sades, your Seals, even the international artists of Nigerian descent. These all play a part in setting a narrative, and the importance of speech and the importance of participation and just to be there. And you look at even in the Chinese industry, the likes of Jackie Chan. Everywhere you go, even in the most remote villages in Nigeria, people that may not even have conventional education, but they know who Jackie Chan is. And you know, so this is representation.
And they know the martial arts.
And martial arts. You look at Bruce Lee. I'm still obsessed with Bruce Lee because I watched him growing up. So, you know, this is participation and this is an identity. So, you know, it is important for us to participate at the very national level because it's inclusivity. Whether anyone likes it or not, it is us being included on the international stage. So it is important for us to participate. It is important for us to see within the creative industry. And within the creative industry, there are 49 subsectors in the animation. Look at China when it comes to gaming, the animation, in the IT sector, right? These are...
And also movies, right?
And in the movies.
Which is the biggest blockbuster now.
Well, there you go. So you can't discountenance that. So it is important for us to see we participate and to support our identity and our participation and just having a platform and a vision on the creative industry, because by doing that we force the narrative to change, and just by doing that we force our inclusivity of our own identity, and we are who we are. We are our ideals, we are our identity, and we cannot be discountenanced once we are visible.
Chengdu, a great city, isn't it?
It's an amazing city. It's beautiful to see the mishmash of culture, of innovation, development, and then of agriculture, and so many areas are green. So it's lovely to see that. It's amazing. I'm glad to be here.
And the giant panda.
And there are pandas everywhere, and of course the panda, yes.
Yeah. You are from a country that is very diverse and also populous, an important nation on the African continent. You're in charge of so many important areas, including culture, tourism. Now, what do you think will speak to people's heart these days?
I think perhaps one of the most luckiest people of my time and my generation to be given a responsibility in the area of art, culture, creativity, and of course tourism. This is the area that really speaks to people. You know, we are evolving in a world whereby I think as nations we have to look inward, to look at how we use our strengths and perhaps different partnerships.
And of course the culture is coming from Nigeria so different from, let's just say, from the East, including from China. So how do you see so far the momentum of exchanges and curiosity about each other?
I think first of all, Nigeria is quite diverse. When you talk about 200 plus million different diversities, you know, this is 200 plus diversities as different as perhaps Chinese and German. It's very different. We don't look alike, we speak differently, we eat differently, but we see that, or we as a government, as an administration, want to bring that as a form of strength. So in Nigeria, you will find a reflection of the Middle East, a reflection of the West, of the East. It's all in Nigeria. We want to package that as a Nigerian brand, to be able to look at perhaps the culture here in China, to see how we can educate the Chinese as to the, you know, the brilliance that we have and the appreciation of our different cultures, of our gastronomy, of our fashion. And I think I see that being in China in the last couple of days. I can see a reflection of what we have in Nigeria. And I think doing this cultural exchange that we are actively.
Madam Minister, I see you are walking a beautiful balance between looking inward and your own cultural heritage and your own strengths, while at the same time valuing and learning and exploring others' cultures, especially, for example, this time in China.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is a fine balance. Sometimes people talk about one size too much, ignoring the other, or vice versa. How do you see that fine balance for African leaders?
I think the balance, it is a fine balance, but I think is a necessary balance. So it's an intentional one that you have to do, even if it doesn't have to be done with a finesse that we've done it in the past. I think we have to go in headstrong, especially with the commitment that both of our presidents made last year in the state visit. Headlong is very important for China and Africa to connect. And I have to say this because, you know, China has always extended its hand to Africa with an independence of Africa. It has always shown Africa partnership and a unity based on mutual respect. And I think this is very key, this is very important. So even though it is a fine balance, but I think it is one that we have to go in head first. We are a people of culture. And I tell you, the Chinese people, just being here, just being able to feel the energy of the Chinese people. It is such a beautiful culture.
So is the energy in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Where did you go in Sichuan already? In Chengdu?
I've just been in Sichuan. I mean, I've been in Beijing. And I was at the wall and I climbed right to the top of the wall. I was in Tiananmen Square. And it's just
the September the 3rd parade was just held there.
Yes, absolutely. And just being, you know what, just being in the streets with the people, just going out to taste the street food and just feeling that sense of pride and the ambience, I think is something that we as African people need to experience. And, you know, I go to other parts of the world and I see Chinatown. And this is something we want to bring into Africa as well. And it's good for us to also experience and understand where we come from as an African nation, the challenges that we've had, the fallout from colonialism that still seems to sort of affect us as an African nation. I think if we understand us from that level, you know, it will be easier for the global community, and China is a great place to start, to really understand what the, you know, the challenges and the evolution of Africa is. So I think this collaboration, this partnership is very, very key. And like I said, is the lowest hanging fruit for us to show this long-term partnership that our two governments want to have. Yeah.
What do you, sitting where you are, look at the women leadership, both in your country, on the African continent, and even beyond?
To be honest, I think we need to do more. That is the truth of the matter. And we understand that if you want to raise a society and a community, you have to empower the women. And this is where we as an African society continue to lag behind. But I think most of the African administrations now are being very active in ensuring that we raise the chances of women, whether in leadership. But you know, because of the culture and because of the different traditions, it has been very difficult for us to push that through. So we continue to imbibe that through the educational system. And what is important with us being in positions of leadership is that we can show other women in our communities that it is possible, because if we are able to do it, they're able to do it as well. So we have to continue to look at what Beijing meant to us. And I've seen in China, women leadership seems very important. So this is another thing that we want to learn and to see how we can participate and partner with China and be inspired. So I hope this is one thing we can also benefit from this partnership.
Well, you've got a lot of wonderful and outstanding Nigerian ladies around the world that are working in important positions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And it's such a wonderful thing to see you in Chengdu.
Yes, I love it.